Every week, I get closer to looking like I know what I'm doing. I even had the mute off so people can actually hear the banter when we start up.
Oh,
I'm getting good at this. Tricks and toys and stuff. It's a thing. It's also Monday. It's 8 o'clock. And if it's Monday at 8 o'clock, it's Mighty Monkeys Nerd World Weekly. I am your host. My name is Tanya. This is Chris. Wait. This is Juno and no.
it's Monday. Yeah. I think people know who we are by now.
You'd figure after 6.5 years of doing this damn show, and 9 years of doing FC3, and 6 years of Monkey Business Podcast, and a couple of years of Comic Chicks, and
if you don't know who we are by now,
we don't even know who we are. You know, I have my uniform shirts for my day job. Has my name on it. I tell people this is for my edification because I'm so old I forget. But Andy's here, Elizabeth is here, Peter's here. Elizabeth is going to say, what about Statler and Waldorf? That works. Although she's not nearly sarcastic enough for that shit.
I'm not curmudgeon enough.
Yet.
I could be.
Yeah, I think you're getting there. Got the Muppets on my mind because I'm headed to Walt Disney World on Thursday to say goodbye to the Muppet Vision. Yeah, that's a thing.
Changing the.
That's a thing. That is definitely a thing. Look at that. Look behind us. It's daylight. I love this part of the year.
And guess what?
What?
There was sun today. I know, right? And it wasn't 40. Well, it was 40 degrees this morning, but
it was 42 degrees this morning when I woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning. But no, it got up
like
almost 80.
Yeah, my
my
vehicle said 73 when I was driving over here. So
good.
I was on the warm side.
So next week, she's going to be on board with our old friend Dolly. They're going to be talking about NCIS and all 973 seasons and 4,053 episodes. After that, we have some Doctor Who to talk about because I watched the season finale on Saturday evening. And, so that's the thing. So will we be talking about Doctor Who? Yes, in 2 weeks' time. Until then, shh. Spoiler.
Oh, no, I saw the spoiler.
Yeah, somebody spoiled it for Tanya, and I feel very bad about that. It was not spoiled for me, so
I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, though.
We're not going to talk about it.
Right.
We're going to give it 2 weeks. I almost jumped into a conversation about it.
I know. That's why
I'm not going to do that.
No, we can have a conversation off.
Shame on you. We're going to the galaxy far, far away again for then.
I know.
There's lots of good
information. I have my May the Force be with you.
The Abbey Road.
I was going to say,
Stormtroopers.
I had that shirt on yesterday.
Elizabeth, Doctor Who fan. I love being on podcasts. Just saying. Anyway, we're going back off to the
Peter, 2 weeks.
Peter, 2 weeks. Stop talking about it. Or I'll kick you off. No, I can't do it. I don't know how to even kick you off the broadcast. I don't think I could. All right. So we're going back to the galaxy far, far away from a long, long time ago. And we are going to talk about the Star Wars series Andor. Diego Luna playing the titular character. With a huge cast of characters.
It is a huge cast of characters. And for the longest time, I don't know what it was. I thought Andor was a planet. You know how they have Andor and things like that?
In Star Trek it is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in Star Trek it's where the Andorians are from, the ice planet of Andor.
So I'm just it wasn't until I was really listening, because it's like Cassian, and I just didn't really catch it until it was 3/4 of the way through the episode. It said Andor. I'm like, oh. But I had to.
But he's just reprising his character from the Rogue One movie.
I know, and I think now I'm at that point where I need to watch with subtitles because I miss some of what people are saying.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's muffled or it's blah, blah, blah. So maybe on your Disney Plus, if it says that you've got subtitles, it's probably because I put them on there.
That's fair.
And I'm just I'm watching a lot of the shows that way. So
Elizabeth wants to make one of Mon Mothma's outfits. She had several very nice ones. There was lots of very good costuming for Mon Mothma. I thought it was great to see that legendary legacy character, Mon Mothma,
right.
really brought to life, really fleshed out. And the actress Genevieve, I cannot remember her last name.
Riley?
Oh, Riley, I think. Genevieve Riley. She was phenomenal.
Mhm.
Now, Star Wars, now a lot of people can bitch, piss, and moan about Star Wars. They do. I love my fandoms, but I don't like my fellow fans because they toxify everything. Like going out onto the Doctor Who boards the day after Saturday was a bad idea. It was a horrible bad idea. And I will not be doing that again. Let's see. We also said we didn't get more Cinta this season, but Verada Sethu was busy traveling time and space with the Doctor. Yeah. And wow, did she do a good job of that? But again, 2 weeks for that.
I'm like, I thought we weren't getting into that.
It's so tempting. I love that show so much. Anyway, but here's the thing: is Star Wars has done an amazing job in recent years with the series, with the various TV series, the Disney Plus series, of fleshing out and creating a canvas where you can tell so many different types of stories. We saw with Skeleton Crew. We saw the Goonies, the kids' adventure. We've seen, the good old-fashioned Old West kind of stuff with Boba Fett. And we've seen the
cute little adorable baby Yoda.
With the baby Yoda stuff with the Mandalorian. We've seen that. There's so many different ways. You don't need Jedi and Sith, Emperor and Rebellion and all this. You don't need that all the time. There's so many different things in this huge, rich galaxy that George Lucas created, and we are really starting to see them scratch in and dig into that surface. This was a spy thriller,
and I think that was like the hardest time for me to like kind of.
We're now engaging in spoiler territory.
Get involved in it because like the first time I went to watch it, I was just like, and
ask Disney, Peter. I couldn't even begin to tell you. Maybe because they knew that people were going to be like, I'm all about it, and they wanted to binge. I have no answer for that one. I'm sorry to say.
So when the first season came out, I watched the first episode, but it didn't like go like this and grab me.
Yeah, it's not supposed
to like really say, okay, you want to keep watching this.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until like the third or fourth, maybe like the second or third episode when it was getting back into like the flashbacks when he was a kid, that I'm like, oh, okay, there's a little bit more to why he's doing the way he's doing. It would have been funny if that went into the bag.
Into the bag, yeah.
So
look at that.
But I had just a hard time keeping track of all the different characters. Like I needed to have like a cheat sheet next time.
What you gotta do?
Like Mon Mothma, got it. Cassian Andor, got it. I could have sworn that the buyer was saying Leia this whole entire time, but it was Clea.
Yeah.
But I thought it was like
Clea.
I thought it was Leia. But I'm like, that's not Leia. Wait, no. Really? No. And it wasn't until like I had to look on IMDb or look on Google to find the cast to actually catch her name, because every time I heard it, I didn't hear the K.
Got it.
So I'm like, oh.
Also, they didn't use each other's names all that often.
No.
Either. So it was one of those things. But the Skywalker family, the Skywalker family is not the entire thing. That's the best part. They're really kind of like steering away from, not so much steering away from it, but just acknowledging that there's more to it than just that.
Wasn't it R2D2 and C3PO? Wasn't it their series?
What?
The whole trilogy of whatever.
Oh,
it's all
the movies.
The movies. Yeah. It's not the Skywalker family.
Yes.
It's the droids.
It's the droids. It really is a story about the droids. I was glad I had Wednesdays off with the 3-episode drops. Well, yeah, there's that.
No, but I binged it.
Yep, so did I.
I because we took a break on
chop Tanya
Monday for Memorial Day, and I was in season 2, but I was like only a couple episodes into season 2. So between
somebody wants to see you.
Monday and Tuesday of last week, I was able to finish Hi Puppy Andor, and then Wednesday I came home and watched Rogue One. because it had to go in there. And I want a K2SO.
I like hugs.
That's good. She's like, I like kisses too. So I want a K2SO.
You want a K2SO?
Yes.
Get your own Alan Tudyk.
Okay.
So there you have it. Juno really liked it. She actually watched Andor with me. And it was weird because she actually like sat down and would watch it. It was interesting.
She was just trying to find any of the animals that whatever.
No, she really wasn't even chasing. Like when somebody was riding an animal or like a small critter kind of ran across the screen, it didn't even like, she would just sit there and watch the show. It was kind of wild.
Not like tonight when we were watching Tales of the Underworld.
She was all over the place.
She was chasing one of the rats across the screen. I like hugs.
Oh, easy puppers. The betrayal.
So, no, is it my favorite? No.
What about it did you not like? Why is it not?
I think it was.
I mean, I don't need it to be your favorite.
No,
but why is
I think it was just like too thinky for me, and I just. I wasn't something I could check my brain at the door. It was something I really had to think about and keep track of these characters.
But is it such a problem to actually like absorb the story itself?
No, it's just lately I'm just not in the mindset to be thinky. I don't know. It's the end of the school year.
It was fun to see everyone who hadn't played Jedi Fallen Order find out just how terrifying those droids actually are. Yeah. Right.
It's just the end of the school year and my brain is fried. So.
Well.
Yeah.
What I'm just doing, I'm trying to have a constructive
conversation. I can
but you're like, you know, what are you gonna do? Was any part of it like, did anything catch your attention?
I'm trying to figure out how, like, I'm trying to put my thoughts in order. Mom Martha, he spent a lot of her family's money.
Yes.
Okay. Funding the rebellion.
Yes.
Okay. So
you're seeing the dawning of the actual cohesion of the rebellion.
So she was marrying her daughter off in order to get funding, or to fill in her bank account.
It was to fill into her bank account to help cover the tracks. Is basically what she was trying to do without anybody realizing that's what she was actually doing. Like the guy who the husband of the family that she was getting her daughter married into was a powerful businessman, banker type of a person. He did not know what she was doing behind the scenes. He just thought she needed, she was maneuvering something.
Like a political match or whatever.
And since she's a senator and a very powerful senator to begin with, he was like, oh, okay, cool. This is a good match. I can help her business wise. And she's a senator. Good. This is a whole kind. He was not realizing that she was manipulating the situation for his money so that she could keep siphoning to the rebellion.
And he's like, she should have just bought a car wash. A land speeder wash.
And then, the childhood friend he knew what he was into, but blew it. And so it was kind of hinted towards the end that something bad was going to happen to him. But you're watching everybody kind of gel. And, it was interesting to see Benjamin Bratt taking over as Bail Organa, which I understand when you have a character that has a dead stop age because of the events of New Hope, having Jimmy Smits getting older and older and older and older while he was brilliant and he did a great job bringing that character to life.
You can't put him.
Yeah, you can't put him in. You can't put him in the shoes anymore.
How did the Empire not know of the Yavin base?
The Yavin, who knows? Because they were good at hiding it.
Yeah, I'm like, they didn't find.
I mean, it's a big old freaking galaxy. Until they followed the Falcon there. They had to follow they had the tracking beacon on the Falcon, and that's how they.
And that was what Empire, right?
That was New Hope, the very first movie.
Oh yeah, the
original Death Star.
Came in. Yeah.
Right towards the end of the movie, and then the Death Star followed the Falcon.
And then it got blown up.
And then it got blown up.
Yes.
And then Mark Hamill joined the Borg. Okay. Jason Howard with the non sequitur.
So yeah,
it's a big galaxy. I mean, it's easy to find a planet that very few know anything about or would even give a damn about, to be honest. I mean, that was the thing. We played the Star Wars RPG on several occasions, and it was
a ton of planets that
it was very easy to find a pocket in the universe to do and just hide. So when you're trying to coordinate everything, it's easy to miss something.
Yeah. So I was trying to figure out, am I gonna like Stellan's character? Do I not like him? Depends on the episode. I was like, wait.
Stellan Skarsgård's character, Luthen Rail, was meant to be the morally ambiguous character that, he has this great speech in the first season about what he sacrifices for what's to come. And you don't have to like him. He doesn't give a damn if you like him or not.
Yeah, but so it's like, which side is he on? I'm not sure.
Well, he was definitely rebellion side.
Yeah, but it seems like some of them I couldn't figure out who was on which side.
Right.
Like towards
and that's
the end.
Part of a good spy thriller is you're not quite sure. That's the thing about a good spy. Did you ever experience Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, the novel or the TV series that was born from it? No,
I have not.
It's a fun connection. Actually, Ella Guinness played the title of the main character in a miniseries rendition of it. So there's an Obi-Wan Kenobi connection there. I know you're not a big spy thriller fan, but it was a good series.
James Bond fan.
All right, my mind is Jason's now singing Weird Al.
Yeah.
Not helping. All right. So, where was I had a question and then I forgot it. I had to forget about a question. But it was interesting to see how Andor, and they fit it nicely. It was supposed to be a 5-season plan, but they realized they really wanted to kind of move on to other things. And so in those final episodes, how they kind of like meshed it into the lead up to Rogue One. So you could watch season 1, season 2, and then Rogue One right in order, and you would not miss a beat.
No, and that's what I did.
I thought that was really kind of cool.
I did.
So you
season 1, season 2.
Yeah. So season 1, season 2 were prequels essentially to the Rogue One story, and it gives you a chance to see the backstory of this very interesting, very complicated character of Cassian Andor, played by Diego Luna, and then all the cast of characters around him, and the impetus, the inspirations, the situations that unfolded that led him to be, the hero of the rebellion that nobody really kind of
understands that he was.
Yeah. So I thought it was interesting. I thought it had a great depth to the lore. It really fits in well to the Rogue One New Hope kind of adjacentness to the juxtaposition of those two stories together. So I would love to hear your thoughts or read your thoughts, as the case may be, in the comment section on the right hand side of the screen that I am kind of looking in the general direction thereof. I would love to know what you're thinking about it. I liked how they brought everything together. Yes, Peter, I do too. I think it looked like it was going to be pretty clunky when they started season 2 out, because I wasn't sure where they were going to go, how they were going to get from point A to point B. Here's the thing. Thank you, Peter, because you actually led me to the thought I was trying to have. I think what's interesting is knowing that season 2 was going to actually be the end and it wasn't going to go the 5-year plan like they were expecting it to. I was worried that Andor was going to meet the same fate as like Game of Thrones and How I Met Your Mother and a couple of other series where they rushed the end. Like Revenge of the Sith really felt that was chaotic. There was a lot going on because I think George Lucas realized as he finished the first 2, oh crap, I've got a lot of ground to cover with this third movie, so a lot has to happen in this third movie. And a lot of movies, a lot of series have this, we're wrapping up, crap, we still haven't gotten to the finish line yet, and then they'll race to the finish line. And so the ending always feels a little really rushed, really kind of
not really fleshed out and
almost convoluted in some cases. I'm looking at you, Game of Thrones, convoluted as hell. But Andor really did a great job of taking all of these disparate pieces, meshing them in together, and leading you right up to the doorstep, the opening credits of Rogue One. I thought they did as opposed to other things. This particular show got that right, in my opinion.
Yes.
So I think that was a good, and I would like to hear your thoughts on that, on whether or not you agree with me on that one.
I had a thought when you were going on.
On and on.
Yeah, I can't remember. It'll come back to me
It'll
when
come-
I laugh.
When we log off, that's
That's what it was. Yeah.
yeah. So that when we log off and we say goodnight, that's when it'll pop up, and then you'll have to go back live again and be like, "Hey, wait a minute, I remembered now." Like Enterprise, yeah, Enterprise got shafted. Enterprise got shafted because Brandon Braga wanted to create his own version of Doctor Who, and was bad at it. But that's in the story entirely. Andy Jr. put Enterprise on the list of things to talk about sometime this year.
How many episodes do I have to watch?
973,342.
I did it for NCIS. I think I could do it for something else.
Andy Jr. addendum. Put it later in the year. Give her a chance to catch up.
No, it'll come back to me when
It'll come back to you. So again, I want to hear your thoughts. This is an interactive show, you know.
I got it.
All right, go ahead, Kermit.
It was confusing to me a little bit when Cassian was working for the buyer or not working for the buyer or doing whatever, and then at the end, and the buyer's trying to kill him off or whatever, and he's like, "Are you gonna kill me or take me in?" type thing, and then all of a sudden, like the
relationship between Cassian and Luthen, was very complicated. Luthen had a mission. Luthen was probably your best way to describe him was essentially lawful evil. He's like the operative from Firefly, right? From Serenity, and where he has a very particular goal. He's going for a better world. He's going for a better community.
He doesn't care how he gets there.
He knows. It's like the operative said it best. I'm creating a world. I'm helping create a world that I'll never get to live in. Luthen Rael was the same way. He was very much. He understood that he'd become his own version of the bad guy. That's like I said earlier in this particular conversation. He has this great speech in season 1 where he's asked what he's been sacrificing, and he goes through the list, and you realize he has grown very comfortable with the fact he's not happy about it, but he's comfortable with the fact he is at peace with the fact that he is the enemy. He is a monster, and he has a goal, and he is going to use whatever resource he has to get that goal to fruition. And Cassian is a great resource. He's an asset. He never looks at Cassian as a friend. He doesn't see Cassian as his friend. He doesn't see him as a protege. He sees him as an asset with potential. And when Cassian does something that Cassian wants to do that isn't in Luthen's viewpoint, then Luthen sees him as misusing his potential, right? So they get angry with each other. They bicker, right? And you always wonder if they're going to have that, and they kind of have their falling outs throughout the course of the series, but they still value each other because they know that in the long run they're both interested in the same thing. They're not working against each other. They're just not working with each other fluidly. So tie up loose ends. Andor was that loose end. Yeah, that happens at one time. Then you have Stephen Moffat, who kills all the characters you love. Yeah.
Different conversation.
There is a great meme where they're on a red carpet. It's Stephen Moffat and Matt Smith is laying on the ground, and Moffat's on the telephone, and the caption says, "Hey BBC, I'm sorry, I killed another one." Right. So, but that's the thing.
And it's like, don't get attached to too many characters. Whatever, because
and that's a thing, and you see. What I think what Andor is really good at is you're seeing everybody plotting and maneuvering around each other and targeting each other and working with each other, and then who's lucky and who. Mon Mothma really survived to become the head of the rebellion through luck. It was sheer unadulterated luck because she did not have the skills to be who she would become.
Right, because she's like when they died in front of her, she's like.
Yeah.
It was like
she needed Cassian to save her ass.
She was definitely in vapor lock.
Yeah.
Type thing. Really?
Jason, focus. Come back to Star Wars with us, buddy. Can I? We'll talk Doctor Who in 2 weeks. Doctor Who in 2 weeks. Yeah, Andy says it best, working within their self-interest towards common goals. You know, and then when towards the end, when the gig was up and Luthen realized they were on him, and then he made his moves to make his sacrifice to say, okay, fine. Then this trail ends here because I'm not going to let you get any further.
Right.
I'm not going to let you find the bigger plan. I put too much into this for you to tear it all apart. You know, that kind of a thing. So it was not a big shoot 'em up action piece. It was never meant to be dogfight, sword fight, Jedi, this and this and that and the other thing. It was meant to be Jack Ryan. It was meant to be Mission Impossible. It was meant to be, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, that kind of thing. That's the vibe you were supposed to draw from it. There's plots within plots and counterpoints and people working against each other, but they're working against the wrong person. Or are they? They make you question and wonder what's going on while giving you a peek behind the curtain to see another layer of the Empire. It was still in its young format at that point. It was really before all of the events of Star Wars truly kicking in. So let's see. No wonder the Jedi don't like attachments, don't get too attached to any characters. Yeah, pretty much.
But I did like Vix going after the Doctor.
Yeah.
Some comeuppance.
Well, I mean, that was just for her.
That was just
almost
for her.
Completely unrelated. It was the whole, you're seeing how dark the Empire was
getting.
And we're seeing that in today. We're seeing that in today's society, our home society right now, where certain behaviors have allowed people to show their true natures, and those true natures are not nice.
No.
So it's giving you a glimpse of what it's like. The Empire was so successful because it gave permission to those of nastier thinking, the permission to go ahead and be a jackass. Like, when they were accosted on the farm.
Oh, yeah.
And that one lieutenant was making it very clear that he just wanted a piece of Vix for his own amusement.
And she's like, no.
Yeah, and he didn't care. No. He was allowed. He had the firepower of the Empire behind him. Not that it did very well for him. Explain a movie badly. Guy with a mommy issue kills a bunch of people, and there's a lot of fallout from it. Wait, that's like 100 movies, not just Star Wars.
But my thought was, and I don't know if I was going down the right path for this, but the Doctor was starting all the torture that the probe droids would eventually,
you're watching
create this, that they're going to be, these are the tactics that they're going to eventually put into the.
You're watching the prototype to what would become the interrogation droid.
That's what familiar. It was, the interrogation droid.
The interrogation droid.
I knew which droid it was. It came in at Leia. I knew exactly which droid it was.
This is how democracy dies, with thunderous applause. Yeah, very applicable to today.
So I'm like, okay, so that kind of gave a little backstory of how they got to that.
Scale of 1 to 10, what do you think of the series overall?
About 7.5.
Okay. I'm going solid 8. There were some slow moments, but that's the thing about a psychological thriller, about a spy thriller, is sometimes you need those quiet moments and what you think is a throwaway moment to set up something bigger down the road, the bigger reveals and whatnot. Kind of along the lines of this, did you see the interview between George Lucas and James Cameron where they discussed the symbolism of the Empire and the Rebel Alliance? Yeah. If you can find that online, folks, watch that. They talk about Lucas's inspirations for how he structured the first Star Wars, who's who in his opinion, and the social commentary that he was committing to from the 70s. So there was something he was looking at and drawing inspiration from and saying, this is a sci-fi version of what's happening here. So George Lucas, James Cameron interview conversation. You can probably find it on YouTube. Watch that. There's a lot there. Too much for us to talk about in about 2 minutes time. We're hitting the half-hour mark, so we're going to start wrapping up at this point. I gave it an 8. She's giving it a 7.5, maybe a little bit more. It is a spy thriller. It is not a shoot 'em up. It is not a Mandalorian action film. It's not a war movie. It is not Jedi versus Sith. It is you're not going to see Vader. I don't even think they hinted him. I don't remember them even making an implication that Vader was an entity. I don't remember that.
Mhm.
Did they say something? Well, Krennic shows up towards the end, but he doesn't really. I mean, they talk about Tarkin a lot, but that's the thing is Tarkin.
Did they go to Mustafar?
No, they didn't go to Mustafar.
Now, what was the lava planet that they went to?
That was in Rogue One, I thought.
Was it Rogue One?
Yeah, that was in Rogue One, I thought.
Oops. Was it? Okay, never mind.
Yeah, because in Rogue One, Krennic goes to.
Oh, because of the getting the Death Star on that. Never mind.
Yeah.
See, because it went right into the end.
Right.
So I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. So, shit, where was I?
I'm sorry.
You do that to me often.
And I didn't mean to, but I was just like, oh yeah. And but this is what happens because I went right into Rogue One at the same time.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that people who think Star Wars is this box right here, and everything should be in this particular box. If you think that Star Wars should be just this and only this, then you're going to be disappointed in this series. But I'm going to invite you to try it anyway, because as I was saying at the top of this particular conversation, Lucas has really gone out of his way, or Lucasfilm and Disney Plus and everybody behind Star Wars these days has really gone out of their way to show you that in a galaxy, when the setting is an entire galaxy, you have the ability to tell several different types of stories. And so far, in my opinion, they've done it successfully. All right. And so take a crack at it and let us know what you think about it when you get a chance to. Let's see, the big economic creature that was built with one intent and it went out of control, and a monster like the Republic. Well, that's the thing is something old gets corrupted easily, and that's going to happen. Are you comic chicking anytime soon?
Sometime
in the near future. You and Ann gonna do your thing
eventually. Back
into it. So that's Star Wars or Andor, a Star Wars story. We needed backstory. Yeah. Is Lando a Disney prince now? No. Nope. No, he's not. He'd like to think so, but no. Like an old version of Windows. Oh, you guys are just off the reservation today.
Right.
You're like her kid's senioritis. Seriously, it's a thing. It's a thing. So next week I'm going to be on vacation, but you and Dolly are going to be doing an NCIS episode. The week after that, we're going to be talking about Doctor Who season 2. And all of the twists and turns of the reality war. And then what's next after that? We're going to do other things and stuff and things. Just today, I don't know.
We're always off the
reservation. As a 50-year-old fan of the Rebellion, this is exactly the program I've been waiting for my whole life. It's a 10 for me. I love the slow burn. I just wish we saw more Andor on missions. Jeffrey, that's a fantastic observation. That's awesome. And I'm glad you enjoyed it, dude. I really am. See, that's the thing. When you have people who are like into something different in a familiar setting, that's where the win is. That's awesome. I am so glad you had a good time watching that show.
Okay, hold on.
I think we're in solid shape. So what's going to be after
that? It was supposed to be Ironheart and the Fantastic Four First Steps predictions.
I don't like doing predictions, really. I'll take a crack at it. I predict that the Fantastic Four will be in a movie.
Yeah.
And I predict Riri Williams will build a suit of armor.
Okay, so
those are my predictions. Anyway.
So June 16th, Doctor Who 2025 season review.
Yeah.
But then and then the War Between the Land and the Sea predictions, which I don't have BBC iPlayer.
I don't either. We'll figure something out.
Yeah. But then the next 3 weeks are 3 weeks of predictions.
I think we're going to we're going to work on that because she and I are not really good at predicting things other than obvious.
Can I tell you, I was like, oh, at the end of Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh.
Yeah. See?
I'm like,
see?
No.
Yeah, see? Now you're into it now, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's a fucking great show. I love
Star Trek.
I love Star Trek Strange New Worlds. That is just a great damn show. We'll be talking about it.
Talk about that.
Yeah, we can talk about that. That's fine. We can work on that. All right. And we'll let the Andes figure it out and help us out with that one.
Mm-hmm.
friends, family, you have a great week. You have a safe week. And we will talk to you again next week. I gotta go now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.